If you're moving to Utah or plan to be here for a while, you probably want to know the cost of living. How much are groceries? How much is gas? If you end up buying property, what are property taxes? What are income taxes? These are all very important questions when you're deciding to move to a new place. Hi, my name is Eric Gardner with HeyEric.com and eXp Realty, and today I want to cover the basic costs of living of Utah. In this video, we'll be comparing California to Utah, specifically the Los Angeles area to the Salt Lake City area. There are some variances in this. Obviously some data is city specific, some is county specific, and we'll outline that as we go through. But this is an important topic that people ask me quite often. During COVID, obviously we had a lot of people coming to Utah. We were one of those more free states, etc. But even after COVID, people haven't been leaving. We still have people moving to Salt Lake constantly because of our great jobs, our great location, close to the mountains, close to skiing, and all that has made Utah a destination for a lot of the country. So let's dive in and talk about what we're going to discuss. First, we're going to look at groceries. We're going to go to actual grocery stores, 3 of them, and look at what that cost of milk, meat, eggs, fruit that costs so much, because we need to eat. Next, we're going to talk about gas. Obviously, a lot of people need to drive, and we can also talk about the cost of electricity if you have an electric vehicle. Next up is housing. What are housing costs in Salt Lake compared to California? And lastly, we're going to go over taxes, because some states have really high taxes, California, and some states have pretty low taxes. And Utah has good taxes, but it depends on what your strategy is for taxes. Let's get out there. We're going to start by first going and checking out these groceries. So let's go. Okay, I am at Whole Foods right now. We are going to go in right now and check out some grocery prices. We'll check out meat, eggs, milk, water, stuff like that. So let's go in there and find out. So we're at the bread section now, and looks like their cheapest bread is this multi-grain seed bread for $2.79. They also have the whole wheat for $2.79. That one's sold out. Then after that, the organic is $4.29. Oh, here's some ancient grains for $3.79, but the least expensive bread you're getting is a $2.79 loaf of bread, this multi-grain. So here we are with the ground beef. Looks like the 80/20 is $5.99 and the 90/10 is $6.99 for the prepackaged ground beef here at Whole Foods. See, Whole Foods will have water here, which is nice. This is like the health food store. Water here is $1.49 for their cheapest version. Got other ones for $2.39 and all the way up to the sparkling water even. Next up, we have the gallon of milk. So gallon of milk for Whole Foods brand is $3.99 for pretty much all of them. That's their in-house. Their organic stuff is $9.79, or hold on, here we go, $6.99 for the in-house organic. And then getting over here to the eggs, $7.19 for 12 eggs, $7.19, holy cow. Oh, up here's the cheapest eggs, $5.66 on sale right now. So. Oh, here's the cheapest ones, $5.21 for these pasture-raised dozen eggs. Next up is the Smith's. Smith's is a Kroger brand grocery store. This is actually the one in Sugar House where I live. All these have been close to where I live, obviously. But we're gonna go in here and do the final check. But this is where I shop the most just because it's pretty close and reasonable prices. So bread here, this is like the cheapest stuff at $1.49. This classic white's $1.99. A big brand here in Utah is this Grandma Sycamore's at $3.49. Whole wheat, $2.49. And then that kind that my family always gets. Let's go check that out real quick. That is on sale right now for $2.99 for the great grains, regular $3.79. So it looks like at Smith's, the 80/20 they have is this tube stuff, and that comes in at $5.99 a pound. The 91.9, so a little bit leaner, comes in at $7.49 a pound. And then some of this other packaged stuff, the 93.7, well, this is their Angus beef. Angus beef, this is the 85.5 at $6.49 a pound. So $5.99 a pound for this 85.15. That's a larger amount, so I think that's why it's less expensive. But just an idea for the meat prices here. So it looks like large double grade A eggs is $2.49, and then the organic stuff $7.99, $5.99 on sale right now. Okay, so in here at Smith's at the milk section, they're all $3.39 for a gallon of milk. Organic right here is $6.29. Organic whole also $6.29. Here we got the Kroger brand spring water for $1.49. Distilled water also $1.49. Nothing crazy there, pretty in line with the other stores. Okay, I am now at the local Walmart by my house. This would be like the big box store. People would expect this to be like the cheapest prices in the area. This is the Walmart on Parley's Way in Salt Lake City. Let's go inside and check it out. So here at Walmart in the bread section, this is like the in-house brand, $1.42 for white and for wheat. Looking at the kind that my family gets that my son really likes, this great grain for $2.72. But they also have, you know, some really nice organic stuff, you know, for $5.98, etc. So $1.42 is the cheapest bread. So now over here in the egg section, we got 12 large white eggs for $3.44 a pound. But there are some that were about a little bit less. Eggland Best for $3.42 a pound for the 12 large. The extra large, not too much more, at $3.86 for a dozen of large eggs. And then those pasture raised, similar to kind of what was at Whole Foods, are $6.12 a dozen. So looking at the ground beef, we have the 80/20, which is about $6.93 a pound. If you get the larger amount, you get $6.19 a pound. And then their 93.7 comes in at $7.97 a pound. But this pre-packaged stuff over here, which is probably similar to what was at Whole Foods, is actually $5.86 for a pound of 80/20. And then for 90/10, it's $6.86. So that's pretty competitive with Whole Foods. So over here in the milk section, a gallon of milk is $3.22 a gallon. $3.22 a gallon. So here, looking at the water, that's $1.37 for the Walmart brand gallon of water. You got also this distilled for $1.37 for a gallon also. All right, here we are at the Smith's gas station in Sugar House. You can see unleaded is $3.19, diesel $3.58. When we were at Costco, it was $3.12 for fuel there. So pretty close. Like Costco doesn't even have that big of an advantage, to be honest, for their membership. Okay, now we are at probably one of the busier intersections in Salt Lake City. Gas here is $3.22 a gallon, diesel $3.57. This is right next to the Home Depot on 2100 South and 300 West, one of the main hubs of, you know, everything, all the work that happens here. This is local Chevron. All right, I was driving home and I just passed Sam's Club. I had to stop and check this out. $3.04 for gas at Sam's Club. That is cheap. I think gas just went down in the last 2 days because when I was looking originally, it was like $3.11. So that is cheap. Okay, so now let's dive into housing prices. First, we're going to talk about how much it costs to buy a house, and then we'll talk about rents here in the area. First, we'll start with median home prices. A median sold price in Salt Lake County right now is about $540,000. The reason we're looking at the county is just because if you're working in Salt Lake or along the Wasatch Front, you're going to be shopping in the entire county. Some people will want to live in Salt Lake City specific, but it's more of a county statistic that we should be looking at. So $540,000 for that typical home. Typically a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that you're going to find somewhere in the county. Los Angeles median home price, $901,000 for something similar, some sort of bungalow. So that's a difference of $360,000 for that median home price. Average sold price. In Salt Lake County, that average home sold price is $630,000. In average sold price in Los Angeles County, right now, $886,000. So, and these numbers, this Los Angeles number, I'm getting that from Realtor.com, and the Salt Lake information I'm actually getting from our multiple listing service, from our MLS. So what's the difference between median and average? So the median is the number right in the middle of all the sold homes. So sells. If 60 homes sell, all for different prices, whichever price is right in the middle, that's the median. The average is when you add all 60 of those home prices up and divide them by 60. Basically, to buy a home in Salt Lake County, if you're living here along the Wasatch Front, your price range will probably be between about 500 and 700. So that gives you a lot of room to look, a lot of options depending on neighborhoods, depending on how far you want to be from your job. Obviously, we have a lot of new construction right now in Riverton, in West Jordan, South Jordan, all the way down to Utah County with Eagle Mountain, etc. Or if you want to be super close to downtown, you're going to probably get a smaller home for those similar prices. Next, let's look at rents. So renting in Salt Lake, it did go up during the pandemic, but it's actually been compressing a little bit in 2024, the end of 2024. Salt Lake City rents about $1,900 a month for a 2-bedroom. That is in the city, actually. We have all these new luxury apartments that have come up over the last 5 years, 4 years. Other parts of the county will probably be less. You can probably get, single family homes for $2,500 a month. Rent in Los Angeles County, it's about $3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. So when you compare those 2-bedroom apartments, Salt Lake City to LA, that's about an $1,100 difference. Just something to consider. A lot less expensive to also sleep here in Utah. Next up, let's talk about taxes. Taxes are bad. Nobody wants to pay taxes. Let's be honest. We just feel like we're giving money away. California is famous for having some of the highest taxes in the country. Let's dive into this. So some of these taxes, by the way, so there's city taxes, there's county taxes, there's food taxes, there's state taxes. So I'm going to differentiate those as we go through these, just so it's a little bit more clear. So first up, property tax rate. So in Salt Lake County, the effective tax rate is 0.75%, so less than 1%, which is the third highest in Utah. So Salt Lake County has the third highest property tax rate in Utah. Park City is going to be higher. Some of these areas like that are definitely higher. If you go to Utah County, if you go to Cache County, some of these more rural areas, they're probably going to have lower property taxes. Los Angeles property tax is about 1.25%, and obviously can vary on where you live. So right now, just based on property tax, you're paying about 0.5% more comparing Salt Lake County to Los Angeles County. Next up, income tax rate. Some states have income tax rates, some states don't. Utah does have an income tax. So median household income in Utah is about $86,000. Utah has a flat income tax set at 4.65% for all income levels. Remember that. So whether you're making $40,000 a year or $4 million a year, you're only paying 4.65% of that income to the state. And flat income tax is nicer for higher income earners because it doesn't vary by your tax bracket. California median household income is about $92,000. When we talk about this, California income tax has a lot of different rates depending on how much you make. So lower income, you pay less taxes, higher income, you pay more. The income tax for that median number, so that person who makes the median income, is about 6%. So that's already about 1.5% higher than Utah. Utah, remember, was 4.65%. That median number in California is 6%. Income tax in California tops out at $70,116. For those that are making $721,000, and then anything above that $721,000, you pay an extra 12.3%. It's that flat number for the top income makers plus 12.3% of anything above $721,000. So if you're making $1 million, you're going to pay at least $70,000 plus 12.3% of that extra $279,000. So it obviously goes up as you make more. That's a pretty progressive tax by California. So for those higher income earners, they're probably going to want to make their tax base in Utah because they're going to pay less. Next up, sales tax rate. So sales tax is when you buy, could be groceries, could be, any goods you buy at the store. We've actually had a food tax that has come and gone over the last couple legislative or governors. So we currently do have a food tax. One of our previous governors got rid of it, but right now it's back. So sales tax rate in Utah is 4.7% and will go up depending on the city that you live in, because that's a state tax, could be a county tax, and also could be a city tax. So Park City has a higher rate. Salt Lake County's sales tax rate is 1.35. Salt Lake City proper is about 7.75% on sales tax. Park City is probably the highest in Utah with a combined sales tax rate of 9%. 9.05%. So it'll vary depending on the city and community you live here in Utah. The state of California, on the other hand, has a base sales tax rate of 7.25%, and Los Angeles specifically has a combined minimum sales tax of about 9.5%. So Los Angeles is higher than probably our highest in Park City, but typically is around 7.25 across the state of California. So in conclusion, Utah is obviously a less expensive state. We kind of knew that going into this, but if you're looking to make the move, this is a helpful video for you to know what those real costs are going to be when you get here, how much fuel is going to be, how much it's going to cost to live here. This video isn't made to persuade people from California to move here. We actually have a joke here in Utah: Utah sucks, tell your friends, or Utah sucks, don't move here. But this is a helpful video just for you to understand if you have to come here for a job, because we do have so many jobs here. You know, we have a place called Silicon Slopes to match Silicon Valley in California. So we have a lot of tech industry here. We have a lot of tech industry coming here. So if you have to move, this is some helpful information for you. If you have questions on Utah or want to talk about Utah real estate, feel free to reach out. You can schedule a call with me at the link below, or my cell phone is 801-660-9173. Thanks for joining me.